We have done with Article 12 in the last lecture. We have to move towards Article 13 in this lecture. Okay. So this article is also very simple, very easy, like Article 12. Before start this article, I would like to recall you what was in Article 12. Okay. So in Article 12, we saw a word, and that word is state. What was the state? What we have learned? State is that entity which is responsible for our fundamental rights. What does it mean? It means that our fundamental rights are guaranteed by states only. Okay. Now you can ask me one thing, that then what is in Article 13? Then I will say Article 13 basically protect our fundamental right. Article 13 gives a shield to fundamental rights so that no one can change our fundamental right. There should not be any wrong things with fundamental rights. We will see in more depth further. Okay. Now move. Article 13, law inconsistent with fundamental rights. Article 13 talks about inconsistent laws. Then you can ask one thing, that sir, what is inconsistent laws? Which law is inconsistent? No. This inconsistency talks about law against fundamental rights. Okay, what happen if any law which is against our fundamental rights? There is a very big problem. There is an issue. So Article 13 protect us. Okay, so this is the importance of Article 13. So in this Article 13 we will make sure we will understand in more better way. Before move towards clauses of this Article 13, just take a look towards laws. Now there are two type of laws. We can say that one is pre-constitutional laws and another is post-constitutional laws. Sir, what is pre-constitutional laws? So pre-constitutional laws means laws that made before 1915. What does it mean? It means it is British India Act. Okay. What does it mean? It means these laws are British India laws, and that laws has been made by Britishers. Okay, not by Indians. And this post-constitutional law means after commencement of constitution. Okay, it means after 1950 laws which is written in our constitution. Okay, and any amendment, any new laws all fall under post-constitutional laws, and any law before 1950 which is passed by Britishers fall under pre-constitutional laws. I can give some example like Indian Penal Code, IPC. IPC is basically pre-constitutional laws. Okay, and we know about various laws like Farm Bill. Farm Bill is a post-constitutional laws. Farm Bill, IT Act, various things. Okay, that are post-constitutional laws. Now, I think you would thinking that why I am talking about post-constitutional laws, pre-constitutional laws. What is it significant? There are some significance. That's the reason I have told this. Now look, Article 13 clause 1. Now the real article begins from here. Look, Article 13 clause 1. What is it saying? Read once. It says that all the laws which were enforced before the commencement of constitution shall be void if they are inconsistent with fundamental rights. What does it mean? It means that firstly I would like to tell you this applies for pre-constitutional laws. Pre-constitutional laws. It is applicable only on pre-constitutional laws. Okay. So it is, this law says, this article says that if any law which have been made in British India time, okay, if that law is inconsistent, if that law is against fundamental rights, then that law will be total void, total nil. There is no validity of that law. Okay, so Article 13, in a simple word, we can say that Article 13 clause 1 says that pre-constitutional laws, it means before the commencement of constitution, laws made before the commencement of constitution, laws made at the time of Britishers, if that law is inconsistent with fundamental rights, then that law shall be void. What is meant by void? It means null, end. Okay, very good thing. Got it? Now look, should complete law be void? This is very interesting thing. Just try to understand it. Take an example of IPC. What is IPC? We all know, Indian Penal Code by Lord Macaulay. IPC, suppose, take an example, IPC has 20 sections. Okay, suppose IPC has 20 sections, but only 2 sections is against to fundamental rights, and remaining 18 section is in favor. Now, will it justice to void this whole IPC? Then you all are saying that no, this is not justice. Due to only 2 section is against the fundamental rights, we should not void this whole IPC. And the constitution makers also think about it. Okay, now to protect this IPC, to protect this kind of things, we have something. We have a doctrine. And what is that doctrine? That is doctrine of eclipse. Just try to understand very carefully. Doctrine of eclipse. Doctrine of eclipse says that if any law which infringes fundamental rights, okay, in such situations, law get overshadowed by constitution and become unenforceable. What does it mean? It means that suppose in that IPC only 2 sections were against fundamental rights. Okay, so in IPC will not be void. IPC will just go behind constitution. Okay, just go behind constitution. It means constitution overshadowed it. Okay, overshadowed IPC, Indian Penal Code, and Parliament will sit and rectify this 2 section. Parliament rectify this 2 section, and Parliament will say, okay, now IPC is good. IPC will come with 18 section. Now it can work. So this is doctrine of eclipse. In a very simplistic manner, we can understand like this. Suppose we have, uh, what you do if there is something problem in your house. You just repair it. Simple. So this is just repairing of the articles of anything. Okay, of the laws. This is a repairing of laws only. Okay. Now, this was the doctrine of eclipse. Very simple. Another article is Article 13 Clause 2. What is Article 13 Clause 2? It says that states shall not make any law which takes our fundamental rights. It means that Article 13 Clause 2 talks about post-constitutional laws. Post-constitutional laws. It says that Parliament cannot pass any kind of law which is against in fundamental rights. But if they do so, then in that case, that law will be void from beginning. So there will be no validation of that law if that law will be against fundamental rights. Now, again, we have same question. Should complete law be void? Like, take an example of Farm Bill. What was the case of Farm Bill? Were complete Farm Bill was wrong? No. There was something good in Farm Bill. There was something bad in Farm Bill. There was something good in Farm Bill. There was something bad with Farm Bill. So this complete bill, it is not a good thing to remove this complete bill because it is time-taking process. Okay, so for that only reason we have another doctrine, and that doctrine is doctrine of severability. This doctrine removes the part which is against fundamental rights. Doctrine of severability will applicable on post-constitutional laws only. Okay. What it take an example, take the same example. There was some bad thing in Farm Bill. So Parliament will sit and they will remove this bad thing and they will come with only good thing. Okay, so this doctrine of severability says that we have to just remove only what? The inconsistent against, which is against the fundamental rights, which is inconsistent, that part which is inconsistent with fundamental rights, Parliament will remove it. This is doctrine of severability. Got it? It is very simple thing. Now look, Article 13 Clause 3. This is the last article. Sorry, this is the last clause of this article. Okay. Article 13 Clause 3 defines. It gives a definition to a word which is law. What is law? Then the law is by ordinance, by order, by rule, by regulations, by custom, by uses. Okay. Now, what is mean by ordinance? Ordinance basically, ordinance is passed by president. Okay, at the time of emergency or in other situation, at the time of when there is no session of parliament. So in that